of India International Center. This time also, we wanted to hold their first observation. So here in India, some of you probably found it difficult to locate.
थोड़ा शाह साहब थोड़ा सा louder. You need to speak a bit louder.
Please, that you told me so that I just follow.
Yeah.
The subject of discussion today is Jammu and Kashmir, the way forward. And let's concentrate today on 4-5 points with which people of Jammu and Kashmir are concerned today. Holding of early, free and fair elections, granting of statehood, relations with our neighboring country, Pakistan, how to improve the relations with Pakistan. Then recently, the governor's power has been widened. That also is a matter of concern for a good number of friends in Jammu and Kashmir. The governor there would have more power than the governor in other states once it becomes a state. These are some of the points. Of course, the user points out there. We have the problem of the Kashmiri Pandits resettlement. So, keeping that in mind, I have requested two Kashmiri friends first to speak out, and then we will offer our comments. Jamaluddin Bhatt Sahab is former legislator of the Jammu and Kashmir. He has been a chairman of some important corporation and very eminent writer and journalist. So, Jamaluddin Bhatt Sahab, please.
Thank you all, sir. My pleasure to be here. We have been meeting off and on the invitation of Mr. Shah Sahab, Chairperson of the Congress. Almost many prominent Kashmiri group people still here. And myself an ordinary citizen. I will at the outset express my gratitude for Shah Sahab. Thank him for his relentless efforts to keep Jammu and Kashmir in focus at subcontinental level, at national level, in all circumstances, and irrespective of what has been the response from the government. Of course, the stakeholders, more of them, always appreciated the effort. Today when we are meeting, earlier than we have our ideas of Kashmir more or less were known. Where we would discuss internal, external dimensions and try to arrive at some kind of bottom line that would help stakeholders in striking of an issue of various issues. Over the time, many issues have either been forgotten or sent to oblivion. And we know Indus Water Treaty, we know issues about Ladakh, we know certain border issues It is no more discussed. Neither between two countries, nor among ourselves. Perhaps such a drastic change have overtaken everything and also mindset. We as Kashmiris, we have come, we would like to put forth our viewpoint. What has changed and in what circumstances are we viewed today? Post 2019, Jammu and Kashmir, once an entity, proud culture and civilization, a huge geographical entity. It has undergone change, and most of the changes have been affected by two governments. Government of Pakistan dispensation was given. 2019 changes, constitutional change under the Reorganization Act, which is now again in debate, has made us virtually a non-entity. While perhaps many would like not to discuss it at all, to talk about miseries, not to talk about suffering, as people of a nation, part of a civilization, as part of this subcontinent. We even, on our part, once we were known for some kind of resistance, even that resistance, the strength of resistance seems to have, because the modus operandi is our silence speaks, or we have been. What we see at this point of time, I humble request for all of you, would be I have already requested to that external dimension discussion on that. Because of so many global changes, subcontinental changes, and changes at the local governments in India and Pakistan. I don't think that at this point of time, we need to put forth any kind of a suggestion how external dimension should be or should have been addressed, except that two countries which will impact us always, their behavior, their conduct, the relations of two peoples, except for the impact that's made, never be missed or ignored. There will always have influence, major influence from that kind of impact. But the local change between new beginnings here need to be in more focus. We have forgotten now what had been how many rendered homeless, how many would suffer. We have even forgotten what kind of terrorism was unleashed here or there and what kind of suffering as a consequence. The changes are so humiliating. We see our dignity absolutely decline. Our identity lost. Our ethos under too much of attack. And no accountability, no audience, no debate, no discussion, all being seen as some kind of unilateral imposition from a powerful government of a huge nation, huge democracy, but we as part of the nation would expect some kind of support, some kind of soothing, some kind of respect, some kind of participation. I, as an ordinary citizen, see the retribution there is too much of buzz about development, about governance, about discipline being brought in, about peace, and the Lok Sabha polls are shown as a reflection of endorsement. What is that? And a massive endorsement. I would the controversial statement of contest the government's debates. Yes, it is a fact that our budgetary allocation has swelled over the years. Yes, there is a fact that development is there. Yes, there is a fact that Amarnath Yatra is being held smoothly. Our number of tourists swell. That has been also by people recently, whether they like that or dislike. Happy we are. Some kind of development has been taking place. Happy we are that some kind of administrative discipline is shown better than over days. But at the same time, the injury because of denial of identity, denial of an adequate status as part of a federal nation, denial of right to contest change, denial of representation, denial of being heard as part of the nation. We are being administered any population can be better administered if they are denied at the same time. It is kind of a situation while we see that all our needs are met except the place of honor and participation as part of the nation. If you accept that kind of a position of Jammu and Kashmir, you would always say has been the crown of the nation, which you would say has been a place where from message of peace and brotherhood would have come. You would say has been the route to the civilization, Indian civilization. You would say that they are connected to islands. If you would say that it has represented an ethos, which is perhaps the essence of the international civilization. It was lying random. Why you are being reduced to an entity where we cannot speak? Why we not having minimum rights? And whatever has happened when the Reorganization Act was made, now the amendment out of blue. Yesterday they have sought the mandate and they were questions on that. The government should have been more compassionate towards people. There were signals to be cautious, to be compassionate, to be a bit liberal, to be subservient to Constitution on which we stand. Or at least respect the collective conscience. Nothing like that is happening. Now, before the election, where you say, Prime Minister came to us, we had got a happy news when he repeated that election will be held, statehood will be restored. We took a sigh of relief, perhaps, yes, change. We may not be given the ultimate rights we deserve, but at least a few rights as a consolation prize. The victims of decades, the sufferers of decades. But immediately after that announcement, visa elections not happening in a state, His Excellency the Lieutenant Governor taking powers, reducing an expected institution to kind of a toothless body where they would only meet. They would not represent, they would have any authority. They can't have an initiative, they can't expect. There will be no idea. There can be no debate. If that kind of a democracy is granted to us, in denial of statehood, in denial of autonomy within the federation, in denial of mutual accountability, in denial of transparency, in denial of a respectable place. How do we see as part of becoming a nation? Where we say we also do we belong to you? If it is like that we belong to you, we are not seeking concessions. A budgetary allocation in such a huge country where progress and economy is projected has now taken right over that paltry amount should not be a cast against our dignity at all. It should have part of public exchequer to public which they owe, which they respect, whom they respect. Do we? We don't resist now. Our youth participated in Lok Sabha polls only to tell all of the nation that when we participate in the expression of outrage, anger, whatever it is, the least part. Decisions of no consequence. The expression of our anger and outrage it is given to them. What would have been better for a government to take note of that instead? They are making us more outrageous, more sulky, more alienated, more subjugated, more powerless. So I have come with a request that there are certain serious issues now coming up. The first issue is our helplessness. We are ourselves not united. I acknowledge. We have had that we had several arrangements with New Delhi right from accession to various accounts. If New Delhi has been somewhat different or dishonest, we need to have not been that honest in keeping the relations to a level that they will not break. And there would be no misery, suffering, deficit of trust, confidence. I blame my leaders. And I blame them publicly. I tell them, yes, you are the people, respected and honored by me, you are part of them. You are part of various discussions. You are the signatories to various agreements. You are the guarantor of common people in the rest of the nation. That is, in the nation, you will be protected, honored, respected. You too have faith. Let them acknowledge at least, not that their intentions were wrong, not that I wanted them to fight and fight it out like enemy, the hostile party. No. I think it's a matter of right. Intentions were good, but they could not help. They are also failed. Two parties coming together, they should share blame. But now that also has ceased to be an issue. But there is a party in New Delhi, a government. They will be nationally acknowledged as the best. They will be delivering in favor of people, but in respect of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, they are really seen as, I don't know what kind of a term I should use. It's kind of a despotic tyranny. We should be really we respect for others. We don't have any problems now. They have to be shown that we are part of it. Give us an early election experience. With an objective to have a powerful legislature. It's not a separate a legislation which other states employ. Give us employment to the youth, a future, a career. And some kind of blame for past. Give us everything in return. There are detainees, female detainees, and my own constituency body for. If you honestly believe, I have worked for young girls who are undergoing careers in education, shaping their careers, who are booked under UPA. Some of them released, some of them not released. You have a rule that anyone, kin of a militant, whether dead or dormant, you cannot see government job. There is verification. You are denying appointments on the basis of resistance, which was a historical fact, which has been recognized by various governments as part of a problem which should be resolved. Not that we get a punishment. Properties are things. So state elections, some kind of dignity and amnesty applications for youth, attitudes, and the rules that obstruct, block some kind of a dialogue, reconciliation, coming together. All those rules should go. If that happens with your cooperation with voice, you will see in a property.
मैं जरा जल्दी में हूँ
Islam is not there. They just come from a state abroad. He was reluctant to come.
Please allow me to speak, but
Yeah, so I request him to speak now.
yeah. She is my special friend. She works for me. We are very old dear friends. देखिए ऐसा है साहब, मैं एक चुटकुले से बात शुरू करता हूँ। निजाम साहब ने बहुत सारी बातें की। He's one of our, I refer or return to him every now and then because he's a brain in Kashmir. We all look up to. 2001 में तब मैं इन जमीनों में था, सरकार में था, धंधों में था, तो हुर्रियत टूटी। ये 2001 का किस्सा है। हुर्रियत टूटी क्योंकि गिलानी साहब बाहर चले, खफा होके बाहर नहीं गए. And the story that went around was कि ये हुर्रियत आपने तोड़ी है. मैंने कहा कि अगर हमने तोड़ी है तो हमें मुबारक हो, लेकिन असली बात यह है कि इसको तोड़वाया था ISI पाकिस्तान में. So कश्मीर की एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. निजाम साहब ने alluded to it. I would like to take him on more squarely. प्रॉब्लम है जोड़ तोड़ मरोड़, यही प्रॉब्लम रही है कश्मीर में शुरू से, आज भी यही प्रॉब्लम है. जब 53 में आपने शेख साहब को बंद किया था, उसकी वजह भी यही थी. आज अगर ये कश्मीरी सब अलग अलग है, उसकी वजह भी वही है. कश्मीर हैज चेंज एंड कश्मीर इज नॉट चेंज. अब जैसे आपने कहा शाह साहब कि इसके देयर आर 3 एंगल्स टू दिस ट्रायंगल. There's Delhi, there's Islamabad, and there's Srinagar. And we have, over a period of time, been trying to sideline, rightly so, sideline Islamabad. And we have exceeded. We have succeeded to a very large extent. If you look back from 47 to 2024, Kashmir has been hugely mainstream. Our basic problem, what has it been in Kashmir since 47? That this Pakistan angle should be taken out of the equation. And we have succeeded. I think we forget this many times. We have succeeded. Pakistan is no longer an issue in Kashmir. The Kashmiri doesn't trust or rely on Pakistan. It's only a fallback position, when Delhi misbehaves extremely, then there is that fallback position to Pakistan. Otherwise, there is no Pakistan issue. Actually, Pakistan went out of favor in 2001 when the blasts in New York took place. Then the Kashmiris started saying, अगर ये अपनी हिफाजत नहीं कर सकते, and you remember at that time, Musharraf was read the riot act that either you are with us in the fight against terror or you are not with us. And Musharraf said, yes, I am with you. And the Kashmiri said, if that be the situation, then what hope do we have from Pakistan? And over a period of time, that hope has diluted. That hope has diluted that hope is diluted manifold. And in fact, most of all, as far as the Kashmiri goes, and it goes to, it had an impact in Pakistan as well. The unkindest cut of all, as far as the Kashmiri goes, is that at the time of abrogation, Pakistan did not stand up. And the message that has been conveyed since then, that 370 is an internal matter. Pakistan has nothing to do with it. And I used to think that how will the Pakistani leadership justify this in Pakistan? And then I remembered what Musharraf used to say time and time again. He used to say that whatever is acceptable to Kashmir and Kashmiris would be acceptable to Pakistan. What has happened over a period of time is that the Kashmiri has accepted abrogation. Abrogation, yes. It was sub judice. Somebody filed the religion petition. I don't think it is a judicial issue anymore. But by and large, the Kashmiri has reconciled to us. So if the Kashmiri has reconciled to us, then what is the problem with Imran Khan reconciling to, or for Nawaz to reconcile to us? So that is one thing. But having said that, my Guruji is sitting here, Manizar, that I agree entirely with him. We should not stop engaging with Pakistan. We must engage. In my thinking, and I think possibly he thinks the same way, I hope he does, that Pakistan remains our most important neighbor. China is the bigger neighbor, the more difficult neighbor. Pakistan is a very easy neighbor to be. We are the same people. There is no issue, there is no problem. You ask him every time he goes. He is welcomed, hugely welcomed there. In Pakistan, hospitality, unmatched. So that is, it's something which does not make sense at all. But that's how it is. The real point, and when you say the way ahead, I think the way ahead lies with Nizam Sahib. Nizam Sahib, you have also been party hopping, from place to place to place. And why have you been party hopping? Oh, looking for better things, looking for better avenues, looking for better something. As long as the Kashmiri continues to do that, the Kashmiri will always suffer. There is only one thinking in Kashmir. That is regional sub-nationalism. Please tell me if I'm wrong. So how does it make a difference whether you are the People's Conference, the National Conference, or the PDP? What difference does it make? If the Kashmiris were together, most of your problems would disappear. But because the Kashmiri cannot stay together, you have these problems. And these problems will grow. They're not going to grow. And I'm talking here, I'm referring to the mainstream. I like to go a step further, because I began by saying Kashmir has been mainstream. If Kashmir has been mainstream, then why don't we bring the separatists also? Why is the Meerwai sometimes out, sometimes in? He has a role. Whatever is left of the Hurriyat, I think it's basically the Meerwai. Why should he not participate in the election? Why should we not persuade whatever the remnants of the Hurriyat left to participate in? And why is it necessary for Delhi to have its own government every time? Why can't the Kashmiri have his own government? You had this PhD or whatever it is. Why has it broken up? Nizam Sahib, can you explain to me? Why has it broken? Now I don't know whether elections will be held. I have been saying repeatedly, time and time again, that if there is any way of moving forward, is that we must have a revival of the political and democratic process, as Narasimha Rao was wise enough to think in 1996. That you must have a government, Kashmir must have a government of its own, good, bad, ugly, wretched, whatever. But it must have its own. You cannot be run by a lieutenant governor from Uttar Pradesh. No. But the fault lies not always with Delhi. As you said, the fault lies with the Kashmiri and the Kashmiri leadership. I remember once talking to Meerwai, and I said, "आप लोग झूठ बोलते हो." बहुत झूठ बोल इसे ठीक कहते हैं आप, लेकिन आपने सिखाया है। So there is some truth in that, but Kashmir was the stock of what is happening. And yes, I agree entirely. Statehood must be restored. Our Home Minister, and he is still our Home Minister, is committed in Parliament to restoration of state. And I remember about 2.5 years ago, soon after abrogation, I was at a function in Chandigarh. And there was an important RSS leader there speaking together with us on Kashmir. And when we raised this matter of restoration, he said, "Jaldi hone wala." और मैं आपको बता देता हूँ कि statehood will not be restored till elections are held. But even if the elections have to come before state, it has its own implications. You know what Umar Abdullah said? He said he will not contest elections unless statehood is restored. So there are a lot of things that Kashmiri needs to think about. Nizam Sahab, I'd like to learn a lot more from you. But these are some things you should go back and think about. You know, why can the PhD not come together again? Because it can't come together. The moment you talk about elections, then everybody wants to be everything. I don't know if there's anything else that you have any question, I'm willing to answer. But I'm not in the best of health and I'd like to be, inshallah. But I'm willing to answer any quick question in terms. Somebody has any question.
My name is Shivan Ashari. I'm the governor. I recently had
आप नाम बताइए.
Shivan Ashari.
Okay.
I contested as an independent candidate from Srinagar also.
Yes.
I want to ask you, sir, when we talk about Kashmir, why do we otherize the Kashmir? Kashmir is as good a place as Delhi or anyone else. You said PNGD cannot be together. It has always been New Delhi. In Kashmir, you have mainstream parties who were helped by Pakistan and ISI. And New Delhi did know that they were being helped. Mahbub Mufti gets her funds from US by a man called Ghulam Nabi Bhai. When I knew it, being a 33-year-old, what was New Delhi doing at that? I'm sorry, I will ask the important question. Why people of my age really resent Delhi? Because you created so many agents in Kashmir. That's why we cannot come together. My party was granting outside support to PAG. I hold Nizam Sahab in very high regard because he said in a recent interview. My question is,
What is your question, sir?
Yes, please.
In our wisdom, Allah Sahab, people, the think tank in New Delhi, why did they never think that let Kashmir grow as an organic place? Like we have politics in UP, in Bihar. Let people come forward. Why do we always have to make our agents?
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
But who's to be blamed? Is it the Kashmiris to be blamed? We can do the same thing in Maharashtra. And we are now witnessing the same thing in Maharashtra. Who is doing it? Indian society has to stand up for Kashmiri. They don't have to stand up for Kashmiri. They have to stand up for their own constitution.
Stand up for itself.
No, I do agree with that. No, my nation is suffering. Kashmir is suffering more because of Kashmiri politicians.
आज आरती जी आप तो मुझे छोड़ेंगी नहीं.
Not only I is a special friend in the sense that you were trying to say. His generation, my generation, I think we are very close generation wise. And we have a similar view of how Delhi has messed up. It's a common sentiment, common feeling. I am saying this both as a Kashmiri as well as a Kashmiri person. He is a Kashmiri. And you see there's a common ground here. that we are talking the same language. We are saying that Delhi has messed up our lives. It has, we have not been seen as humans. We've been experimented like, pigs.
1 minute. So when I say, one minute. So when I say that the whole problem began in 53, do you agree?
Well, yes.
No, well, yes. You're very reluctant about yes. Either yes or no.
Complex.
Sorry.
Yes.
Nizamuddin Saab wants to offer a comment for a minute. And then
हमको शिकायत आप at national level, except for certain non-governmental organizations, almost all political leaders and parties have misled me. That's why we are missing. I was a student in Delhi University for a few years. Nirmala Sarabhai was taking care of certain boys from people like that. She was in national. उसने मुझे टिकट लाया, 2 ही मेंबर थे जनसंघ, वाईफाई जी के just a year before I got. तो उसने टिकट लाई, कहा रामलीला जाइए कल, वहां आपको एक्सपोजर मिलेगा क्या हो रहा है पूरे मुल्क, वहां वाजपेयी जी की तकरीर, मैं रामलीला गया, टिकट था, अच्छी जगह पर बिठा दिया गया, और बहुत भीड़ थी, पूरा रामलीला भरा। जब वाजपेयी जी ने तकरीर की, पहले तो मैंने एक जोक सुना, उन्होंने क्या कहा, मेरे मित्रों, मेरे सज्जनों, मैं अभी संसद से आ रहा, जो ही संसद से रामलीला के लिए निकला तो इंदिरा जी बोली, जाओ 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 जाओ, वाजपेयी जी रामलीला बहुत भीड़ लगी है, लोग सुनने के लिए आए होंगे क्योंकि हिंदी सुंदर बोलते। मैंने वापस कहा, दीदी जा रहा हूँ, जब आपकी भीड़ लगी होती है तो देखने के लिए आते हैं सराफा सुंदर उनका कोड। और लास्ट which I accepted well, कहा मेरे मित्रों सज्जनों, आपको कश्मीर के बारे में होने की जरूरत नहीं, जहां वहां शेख जैसा देश, वहां शेख रहमान जैसा देश, शेख रहमान at that point of time was Johnson. I took an exception in that. Not that I had now lost for Sheikh Abdullah and I did not like Sheikh Rahman. Lekin that was a misleading statement from such a prominent national figure. Vajpayee. शिकायत ये है कि we are being misrepresented. Most जो भी बात होती है हमारे बारे में गलत नहीं होती है, चाहे इलेक्शन में हो, चाहे पार्लियामेंट में हो, इवन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस लाइक दिस क्या होता है, खुदा के लिए माफ करो।
thank you very much.
I'll take it. Sorry.
I have a question for you.
I'll come back.
It's not fair.
Become my own chief.
Let's hear him for next 4 minutes patiently.
Ah,
And then
Dr. Subramaniam wanted once.
I have a question.
Follow my.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay.
I believe in
Vishal sir for discussing about their experience on ground with the Islamic market. I want to give a brief introduction about myself. I am the convener of the party, not at the rears of New Delhi or Islam, to represent the true aspiration of the people, the all-round sentiment of people. Mullah Saab is not there, but I want to make very serious exception to what he has said. If you want to take Kashmiri outside or alien, Kashmiris are as human as a person in Hyderabad or in Bombay or in Delhi. Why do you have to experiment always? When I was contesting this election, without any disrespect to anybody, I got more votes than some of the national parties. Out of 25 candidates, I came fourth, and I was competing against parties like National Conference, which is more than 100 years old party, and formed by my business. I will tell you where the fault lies in New Delhi. New Delhi has always chosen those people who will test me. I am sorry to say. This was how always the democratic space in Kashmir was gerrymandered. People in India don't have to stand up. They have to stand up for the supremacy of the Indian one. For the love of God, what happened on 5th of August 2019, or much before that, when Mullah Saab was referring to the dismissal of Sheikh Saab in 19. Congress, I am sorry to say, is equally responsible for all that has gone horribly wrong in Kashmir. When you have 371 days to change, for Nagaland, for Assam, for Mizoram, for Manipur, you can't even make laws regarding their social practices. Why should you treat Kashmiris as an alien nation? You have driven the Kashmiri far away from us. We love the people in India. Let me just state it. I have said it many of times. I might have more friends than Rahul Gandhi or Narendra Modi across the length and breadth of the country. I am friends with everybody. That is why we know the essence of India. This essence has to be translated on ground. You have to tell people of Kashmir who are the equal citizens. I am sorry to say, I love Nizam Saab. I hold him in very high regard. We are not asking anyone for everything or anything. And the Kashmiri leaders have to be equally blamed because all of them are cardboard cutout people who have been brought up by either Islamabad or New Delhi. The political background of Kashmir, I am sorry to say, is so polluted because you have people who have been brought up from Islamabad. Now, Mullah Saab was saying something. It will be, I was briefing some MPs who are friends with me. So please go and tell the Indian Parliament and the people of India what happens behind doors. I am sorry, Mr. Manu Shankar. Personally, I hold him in very high regard. Congress party eulogized Jamaat Islami, who was holding guns in their hands in 1996 for some in an election. This is the truth of Kashmir. And BJP is doing equally good. They had an alliance with Abba Mufti. Now we all know who Mufti Said was, how strong he was on the ground. In my first election, I garnered more than 30,000 votes. Mufti Saab was able to get even 200-300 votes in 5-6 elections that he contested. I would say, please, for the love of God, leave Kashmiris and their political space alone. Let it develop organically. And for the love of God, when we even had our own prime minister, it was under the supremacy of the Indian flag. Were we not Indian at that time? This is a question I want to ask the esteemed panel. When Sheikh Saab was the prime minister of Kashmir, it was under the supremacy of the Indian flag. We don't hate India. And we don't need Pakistan to fight against anybody. I am one of the first critics of this BJP government. More than even Congress. It is the only, my political party is the only political party in India which has this manifesto written that there will be no alliance ever till the time I am alive. And hopefully after that also, that there will be no alliance with the communal party, which is against the ethos of this country, which is basically against the ethos of the subcontinent also. Let us not fool ourselves. Jamaat-e-Islami was never able to form a government party. Is that true or not? So they have every ways rejected this religious fanaticism. I want to ask, are we for supremacy of the constitution? When I came, it was to say that we are for upholding the supremacy of it. That constitution gave me freedom. That constitution enabled me to have a different constitution, which was the Jammu Kashmir constitution. It gave me the power to have a different flag with the supremacy of the. We had no problem with that. Then 53 happened. I am sorry to say, I want to tell. Sometimes the MPs who are sitting MPs are flabbergasted with the kind of things that happen in Kashmir. Now we have people who are being funded in mainstream from Pakistan, and government of India knows about it. Just because I am so vocal on all of this, we have enemies on both sides. You will be surprised to know. I have enemies in Pakistan, I have more enemies in UAE. Because they say it is very necessary to stop people like him peaceful. I am against this chicanery and trickery of anything. I am saying let the people's sentiment have a voice. When I was contesting the election, they did not give me permission to contest to campaign in a lot of places. My party is still not being registered with the election commission. Why is it so? And anybody, any town, they can have you choose to be some party chair in Magua Mufti's party. One fine day he goes and bows his head in front of the power that, and he's according to this license. If we want to know this right, we have to allow democracy. Like we allow it to thrive in Maharashtra. If they tell me that Kashmiris are against India, please, for the love of God, for once, do what you have done in Kashmir with the people of Maharashtra. Then at that time, I will see what Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray's party. They are going to be 1,000 times more violent than BJP. My sentiment is misplaced. Sometimes the anger is misplaced. But I am telling you, please let educated, well-meaning people, well-meaning individuals who wants the peaceful existence for every religion, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion, I am telling. Through you, I want to communicate to the Indian civil society. We are not your enemies. But they will make sure that I am made into your enemy. Please tell me what authority does district administration have under 324 of the Indian Constitution? Every political party is supposed to get a level playing ground. On last 8 years, the leading English daily in Kashmir, which by the way is run by agencies. By the name, we call it Gadaya Kashmir, you call it Greater Kashmir. He has not published a single statement of mine, even though news item. If I were the contesting candidate, please tell me, under the supremacy of the Indian Constitution, 324 guarantees that I should have equal space in media. Does it happen in Kashmir? Such will it happen in Bihar? No. It does happen in Bihar. That is how we chose. I will tell you one more instance. Not the other.
And that's the last point.
Yeah. That is the last. The last point, Amarnath Yatra. We all know this story. I am sorry to say, I am a soldier of Kashmir. That is why I'm saying yours. Because I know, given the opportunities that I have, with the background I come from, people are at times they are surprised why do I get it? Because I can have a comfortable life in USA. Why am I wasting my time on all of third world countries? Because they believe people are third world. I don't believe so. Amarnath Yatra is good. Why do we have to stop the kids? Why do we talk in these terms, Kashmiri and India? All the citizens of that place, whether they are tourists or anybody, why should they be strong? Then it harbors a feeling of ill will against the other religion. And it makes Kashmiris feel as if being taken out of context and being otherized, being ghettoized, as if they are our enemies. Chapra was always done. Yes, there are we are a nation which has a total GDP of, if I am not wrong, 200 lakh crores. Can't we construct a separate strip of this road for the security forces and don't harass these civilians? My limited point would be Indian civil society to stand up to uphold the supremacy of the Indian Constitution and rise above party line. I am sorry to say, I am a first critic of Narendra Modi and BJP, but believe you me, Congress has done for most of Kashmiris.
Thank you very much. Mani, are you staying till the end today? Just 5 minutes. Quite happy. No, there. No, I'm today. I'm quite. Mani Shankar Iyer is going at 5:30, but we will continue as long as we wish to continue. It's up to us. There is no restriction, but I don't want you to disappear without tea. So we will.
What time is it? What time is it?
What time would you like? How long would you like the meeting to continue?
6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Right. Because I thought you would have the last word, that's why. No, no, no. Just, it is essential. We all would like to. Not now. Let's give here. 10 minutes before you want to go, you. Friends, who would like to make comments? Now, two Kashmiris have spoken. Now we have a Jammu wala. 3 minutes.
Jammu Kashmir time. Kashmir का नहीं.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, खत्म किया था जी।
Respected Shah Saab, हमारा भाई जब से मैंने जन्म लिया मैं तो तब से ये सुन रहा हूँ, इसी से खेल रहा हूँ। पहले हमारे घर पे आते थे जब मैं 6-7 साल का, इधर से जत्था जाता था, उधर से जत्था आता था और आर पार हो जाता। जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ हीरानगर तहसील मेरे घर से 8 किलोमीटर पार है। तो वो जे मेला मैंने सुनता रहा था और मेरी दादी माँ मुझे बात कहती थी चुप कर जत्था आ जाएगा। वो बंद हुआ तो 65 आ गया गुरेले आ गया, उसका नाम पेरिस लिखा गुरेले, वो रजौरी से आ गए, खूंसर से आ गए, गांव से आ गए और फिर वो सुनते रहे कि गुरेले आ गए। और उसके बाद फिर हमारी फ्रेंडशिप की बाहर हुई और हमारी जमीन चली गई सामने चोरियां की और देवा। फिर समझो क्या हुआ ताशकंद में, उसमें ये कहा कि इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर पर जहाँ लाहौर तक आप गए हो, जब वो आ जाए वो वापस जाएंगे, लेकिन जम्मू कश्मीर किसने ले लिया वो दे दिया, रिफ्यूजी आ गया लाखों। फिर कतर आया तो कतर में फिर नहीं हुआ तो कतर में फिर रिफ्यूजी आया, फिर जोड़ियां ले लिया, लखनऊ तक आ गए। फिर फैसला ये हुआ सिमला एग्रीमेंट में कि जो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पर ले गया वो वही मालिक है और जो लाइन ऑफ इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर का वो आ जाकर वापस अपनी अपनी जगह पर आए। हम होते थे और हमारे पर ये दर्द होता ही गया, लेकिन हमारी बदकिस्मती चली गई कि जम्मू का दर्द कश्मीर ने नहीं समझा, कश्मीर का दर्द जम्मू और दिल्ली ने दोनों का फायदा है। और दिल्ली की पॉकेट में ये समझा गया कि शायद जम्मू उनके लिए हो गए और कश्मीर को ये समझा गया कि शायद ये पार वाले के। ये सबसे बड़ी जो हमारे अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड हो सका, आज तक हमारी कॉमन पार्टी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी एक नहीं बन पाई। ठीक है, जिन्होंने इलेक्शन लड़ी उन्होंने जम्मू से भी एमएलए बना लिए और जिन्होंने इलेक्शन लड़ी उन्होंने कश्मीर से भी बना लिए, लेकिन जम्मू कश्मीर की पार्टी जो कुशवा लखनपुर से लेकर उनसे जोर से होते हुए कश्मीर की एक दर्द में पहुंचे, वो हम कॉन्फिडेंस डेवलप कर पाए। ये हमारी सबसे बड़ी कमी है। दूसरा ये हो कि आज बिहार में स्पेशल स्टेटस मांग सकता है कोई, आंध्रा वाला मांग सकता है और हमारा स्पेशल स्टेटस नहीं है, ये कुछ समझ लगती है। और 9 स्टेटों को 71, 71, 371 दे दिया और गुजरात में भी कोई नौकरी नहीं ले सकता, वहां पर भी पाबंदी है। हमारे लोग हैं वो वहां पर सब बाइक से चले गए हम। और अब कानून तो अब कल परसों पास हुआ, लेकिन अभी तक जो हमारे वहां पर ऑफिसर आए हैं डीसी एसपी वगैरह, वो आज नहीं हमें बड़े मानते। तो कल को तो जो बना दिया कानून वो तो एमएलए को क्या समझेंगे, ट्रांसफर पावर तो एलजी के पास है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर फाइनेंस का तय करना, पैसा कहाँ लगाना है कहाँ नहीं लगाना वो तो चीफ सेक्रेटरी के थ्रू गवर्नर ने करना है। और जमीन का फैसला जो लेनी देनी किसको लेनी है किसको किस इंडस्ट्री को बोल दो गवर्नर को करना है। तो हमारे एमएलए क्या करें, वो तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, वो डीसी को डेवलपमेंट लेवल पर नहीं जा पाएंगे। इसलिए ये हमारे साथ एक बड़ा धक्का हो रहा है और इसका कारण हमारे अंदर भी है। जम्मू कश्मीर को एक मंच पर आना पड़े। मैं तो लगातार इस पर काम करते, मेरी उम्र हो गई 75 साल, किसी पर काम कर रहा हूँ। जम्मू कश्मीर को आना पड़ेगा जब तक एक दूसरे के, जब वर्ल्ड जब दुनिया में जब कुदरत इनके डिपेंडेंट है, ऐसे वो मिलेगा तो पानी बनेगा, नहीं तो नहीं बन सकता। जब मैटर आज तक जितना छोटे से छोटा मैटर ढूंढने वालों ने, जिसको हाइपोथेटिसिस कहता है, हिगस बोसन, जो छोटे से आज तक एक पार्टिकल अकेला कहीं नहीं मिला, 2 से चीजें बनी। और जब इंटरडिपेंडेंस है हमारी तो हम क्यों नहीं? और इसलिए हमें जम्मू कश्मीर के एक जो हमारी बदकिस्मती हो रही है उसका एक हल हमारे और दूसरा हिंदुस्तान हमें अपना। जब हम इधर आते हैं तो कहते हैं जम्मू कश्मीर, रेल में भी हमारे साथ बहस हो जाती है, कहाँ से है जम्मू कश्मीर आ गया, लूट लिया हिंदुस्तान सारा।
सब कुछ आपने ही खाया, ये हमारे साथ बड़ा गैर पानी पैदा होता, वो उसको दूर करने की दूर तक उसका नया कोई रास्ता है। यही समझता हूँ कि आज इंटरडिपेंडेंस और ह्यूमनिज्म की लोग बातें बढ़ाएं तो आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, और तभी हम अपने इंडिया के दोस्तों को सबको अपने जो आप सब हमेशा हमारी मदद करते हो, सेमिनार कराते हो और आवाज बाहर तक पहुंचती है हमारी पूरी बहुत, ये तो हमारी आवाज तो पहुंचती ही नहीं है। इसलिए मैं सबसे ये कहूंगा कि जम्मू कश्मीर को एट पार इंडिया के बिहार की तरह, आंध्रा की तरह, जैसे वो स्पेशल स्टेटस मांग सकते स्पेशल, तो हमें भी रहने दो।
Ansari साहब, would you like to speak for a couple of minutes? 2 comments दे दीजिए, 2-3 मिनट। Ansari साहब was an interpreter of Jammu Kashmir during Dr. Manmohan Singh's visit.
There are a few questions which keep on in my mind.
You have to speak like loudly.
There are a few questions which are coming from my mind, you know, and I'm trying to seek some answers to those questions. और वो काफी मुझे बात करते हैं इसलिए कि हम अक्सर सुनते हैं कि के बाद हालात बहुत आगे हो गए, और अभी जो पिछले इलेक्शन हुए तो उससे क्या और किस तरह से, लेकिन तो मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि क्या हमें अब ये वक्त आ गया है कि हमारी जो अगर कश्मीर पॉलिसी या जो हमारी स्ट्रेटेजी है कि हम जम्मू कश्मीर में ये उससे कुछ काम करने की जरूरत है क्या? पहली बात, दुनिया में मैंने समझता कोई और ऐसा मुल्क है जहाँ पे हमने देखे इतने लंबे अरसे से जम्मू कश्मीर देखी तो मॉडल है, बाकी जो है और हमारे पास जो है पावरफुल गवर्नमेंट्स और they have been very popular throughout in the country and outside the तो एक बात तो हम कॉमनली बिलीव करते रहे हैं कि एज ए मैन पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिकली एंड पॉलिटिकली अनस्टेबल, probably we will be having our own way in that, और हमें ये देखने की काफी दिनों से ऐसा है कि हम देख रहे हैं और बार बार हम ये आरोप लगा देते हैं कि पाकिस्तान की तरफ से, और हम इंटरनली बावजूद इसके कि नाउ गवर्नमेंट हैज द फुल कंट्रोल, डायरेक्ट एक्सेस टू द गवर्नमेंट। मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि एक दफा इसी तरह की सर सेंटर में ही पुलिस सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल उसमें हम बातें कर रहे हैं, उसमें एक बड़ी लार्जर वॉइसेस आ रही कि restore peace in Kashmir, let us now have a government who जब ये लोग और तो ये सोच से कि वहाँ गवर्नमेंट लगा करके और सीधे जो है करना शुरू करेंगे और ये तमाम ये कर रहे हैं। Ultimately, it was thought that was not the proper. But now what we have done is that centrally we have taken the full control of Kashmir and putting all the processes. We are able to identify all the suspected people and contain the victims which have been. तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ये एक कॉमन बिलीफ कि पाकिस्तान कब होगा और ये भी सोचता है कि अगर हम डायरेक्ट हमारे तो भी देखते हैं कि ये कहीं पे भी हम कामयाब नहीं हुए, और इसका ये है कि पिछले 3 महीनों में अगर आप देखें तो अब ये भी सवाल आता है कि हमें मान लीजिए have a stated policy to acquire BOT. तो BOT की तो बात करते हैं, लेकिन what about the parts which are occupied by China? अगर हम ओरिजिनल जम्मू कश्मीर की बात करते हैं, which got access to India, तो उसमें वो भी parts तो जम्मू कश्मीर है जो हमारे यहाँ है और जो BOT तो पाकिस्तान है, and also the two area, Central Asia and South Sea, China, उसकी हम कोई बात नहीं करते। तो मेरा कहने का मतलब ये कि क्या हमें कश्मीर में रिव्यू करने की जरूरत है, सोचने की जरूरत है, और क्या ये भी हो सकता है कि कुछ दिन पहले हमको we had this border issue on national side also. बांग्लादेश के साथ बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स थे, बहुत सारे एनक्लेव्स थे, वहाँ कंफ्यूजन था कि वो बातें वो बांग्लादेश के साथ है। And there was a committee which ultimately ये हमने रिजॉल्व किया, उससे इंग्लिश को एक्सचेंज किया, और उसमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंग्लिश को हमने बांग्लादेश को दिया, लोगों को अपॉर्चुनिटी दी, लोग एंड अल्टीमेटली जो एक बॉर्डर रिलेटेड इशू है वो हमने रिजॉल्व किया। नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, can we make an attempt to resolve the border issue on the western front the same way as in Bangladesh? तो करना है क्या हमें अपनी जो कश्मीर स्थिति to bring peace and all the concerns are made talking about जो भी वहाँ पे system start है, और especially sir, I recall you had championed the cause of in my assessment, the Panchayati Raj institutions which requires the harmonious functions of the three tiers of the system that has never been actualized in Kashmir. कभी भी नहीं हुआ है, कभी लोकल गवर्नमेंट एक लेवल के इलेक्शन हो गए, तो सोसाइटी में भी, तो टी-सेट में भी, जो एक हार्मोनी होनी चाहिए, वो जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में कभी नहीं हुई, because of which we see that the government is understanding making ever since innovation.
Thank you. John, one point.
बैठे हैं तो इसलिए मैंने अपनी बात कर दी। मेरा ये कहना है कि मैंने पंजाब के हालात को बहुत नजदीक से देखा। सरदार हुकुम सिंह जी के साथ मैंने काम करने का मौका मिला, और मैं बहुत यंग था उस समय, और जब पंजाब के हालात देखे, और जब मैं कश्मीर हिसाब से मैं मिला जम्मू में, और जब एक यात्रा पर गए बहुत ज्यादा समय था, मैंने जो पंजाब देखा, और जब मैं जम्मू में गया तो मुझे कश्मीर वैसे का वैसे लगा था। मैं कश्मीर और पंजाब को अलग से देख नहीं, हो सकता है मैं गलत हूँ। उसके बाद मैं श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी के गुरचरण सिंह ग्रेवाल के पास गया ताकि उनसे बात करें कि कश्मीर के ये हालात, पंजाब के ये हालात है, हम कहाँ खड़े हैं। मैं तो ऐसा मानता हूँ कि भारत ने ना तो कश्मीर को अपनाया और ना ही पंजाब को अपनाया, ना ही अपनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि इन दोनों को अपना ले। जो मैं बातें सुन रहा था, जो मेरा अनुभव था, और जब मैं पंजाब में काम कर रहा था, तो मुझे ये लगा क्या पंजाब हम वॉश आउट कर देंगे, बिल्कुल निकाल देंगे। तो मुझे खुशी है कि जब मैंने 1991 चंद्रशेखर जी की सरकार थी, जब पहले बार हमने बात की चंद्रशेखर जी के साथ, और उसके बाद मैंने लगातार इस पे काम किया 2005 के बाद, मुझे लगा कि उसके बाद पंजाब में ऐसे हालात नहीं बने और लोग नजदीक आए। और सरदार मनमोहन सिंह की सरकार में कभी मिला नहीं, एक बार मैं मिला हूँ, पर सरदार मनमोहन सिंह की सरकार को मैं इसलिए स्वर्ण युग कहता हूँ, पूरे 75 साल के स्वर्ण युग इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि सिख और मुसलमान का एक विश्वास बना कि ये आदमी है जिस पर हम भरोसा कर सकते हैं। और अगर हम मनमोहन सिंह की सरकार को देखें तो उस समय कश्मीर के जैसे उन्होंने बताया ये हालात बन रहे थे, पंजाब भी बहुत नजदीक था, पर इमीडिएटली 2009 के बाद 145 से 2009 में 206 मनमोहन सिंह के नाम से ही हो। तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि जहां हमारे से गलती हुई या जहां हम ये गलती कर रहे हैं, क्या हम उस गलती को मनी जी रेक्टिफाई कर सकते हैं, वापस उस दौर पर ला सकते हैं जिस दौर पर सरदार मनमोहन सिंह के साथ, या 1973 जैसे मैंने इंदिरा गांधी जी को देखा, जनरल कुतुब सिंह टोडा थी। बस एक मिनट बस बात में ये बहुत जरूरी है आपके सामने। मैं ये कर रहा हूँ कि जब 1973-74 में जब जेपी मूवमेंट थी और सब जनरल गुरचरण सिंह टोडा और ज्योति बसु को बुलाया और अगर उस समय हालात तो पंजाब बच जाता 50 साल के हालात से। अब मुझे लगता है कि कश्मीर भी उसी हालात से निकला। हम कैसे इसका 370 और 371 की बात हो। अब ये जो हालात है, मुझे तो डर ये लगता है कि लद्दाख जो हमने बनाया वो हमने हाथ से प्लेट में डालकर किसी के हाथ पकड़ा दिया। मुझे ये चिंता है। अब क्या होगा मैं कह नहीं सकता। मैं केवल ये बात आप तक पहुंचाना चाहता था कि इसकी रेक्टिफिकेशन हम नहीं करेंगे तो जो पंजाब के हालात अब बनते जा रहे हैं कहीं वो कश्मीर के साथ उसी हालात से न जुड़े। ये मुझे
Yeah, for 2 friends, and then we have money. Leave that to me.
Thank you. First of all, Shasam, really grateful that you keep reconvening these meetings, keep writing for us to try to bring us together on a common platform. Especially when we have a history of not talking, when we have a history of actually getting at each other's throat. Now, I think today I'm actually very hopeful, feeling very positive because I see a lot of common ground in whatever has been said so far in this meeting. I can relate to him. I could even agree with Mr. Dullah today, with whom I have a history of writing and witness to his entire career in this policy. But I think it's a good sign that Indian society is evolving and moving in one unilateral direction, which is the direction of progress, direction of introspection, where we all are reviewing, rethinking our positions, rethinking our own stances that we have taken in the past, including Mr. Dullah. I think that is a very encouraging sign. Also, my optimism comes from the fact that in the last few years, while traveling and living in Kashmir, I was enormously pleased by the kind of reactions, the kind of conversations I have had with both Kashmir as well as Punjab. Because I felt really that there are grievances on both the sides, but there is also empathy between the two communities who have been living in Kashmir. I noticed that today, perhaps I'm the only Kashmiri Pandit here, and I think there is something. But let me also speak on behalf of Kashmiri Pandit, something that I haven't done before. I have always shied away from that responsibility. I would like to wear that hat. All right. So I'm going to make it very. Today I'm also wearing that hat because I do feel reconnected with my roots. In the last 5 years, I think that's what has happened to me as a person and also as a professional. And I want to point out the people in the Kashmiri Pandit who stayed back. I feel that they are a neglected lot. They have been forgotten. Their conditions, their circumstances, their challenges are not talked anywhere in the discourse, in the public discourse. Also about the Kashmiri Pandits who went under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's employment package. Their challenges are equally grave and nobody talks about. A lot has been said about the displaced Kashmiri Pandit community. I think the time has come to think about their return and rehabilitation, and of course, cohesion of Kashmiri Muslims and Kashmiri as a society, as a whole society, that we all need to come together, work together as one community for our own interests and the interests of this nation. That is it.
Anyone who would like to speak? Or Manisha, please, one point that you want to bring into his notice. Is there anyone? नहीं उनसे तो क्या किसी को
But one thing, I mean,
Yeah.
अब बॉर्डर के नजदीक रह रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पे क्या क्रॉस बॉर्डर फंड्स के लिए जो बॉर्डर में अफेक्टेड लोग टिल डेट, I think both the BJP as well as Congress are
तलाशी होती है।
right now. Wait, sir. सर अभी तक जितना टूरिज्म है कश्मीर में, थोड़ा सा कुछ और टैक्स
जल्दी से, एक मिनट फिर अपने चाय के ऊपर बात कर लेंगे।
जो टूरिज्म कश्मीर जा रहा है, क्या इस गवर्नमेंट की स्ट्रेटेजी है ऐसा कि कल को वहां पे एनवायरमेंट जो इश्यूज आएंगे कश्मीर के लिए, क्योंकि वी आर नॉट रेडी टू टैकल सच अ सिचुएशन, क्योंकि जितना टूरिज्म में जाएगा वो सारा कश्मीर बलून हो जाएगा, वो फॉक्स से हम तक पहुंचेगा। क्या इस गवर्नमेंट ने ये चीज सोच के प्लान किया था कितना कश्मीर टूरिज्म जाएगा? वी आर नॉट रेडी। सेकेंडली, जो जम्मू एंड कश्मीर पे अभी पॉलिसीज आई है, प्रोसीजर्स आए हैं, बहुत कुछ चेंज हो गया है, जबकि हमारा रिजर्वेशन जनरल कोटा में सिर्फ 30%, अदरवाइज हर स्टेट में 50% होता है जनरल कोटा में, बाकी को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाता है 50%। सिर्फ कश्मीर के लिए 30% है जनरल कोटा और रेस्ट ऑफ इन हरियाणा आल्सो, हरियाणा और पंजाब, दैट्स इट। बाकी अगर आप देखेंगे हैदराबाद they get 50% in general quota, in other quotas it will get equally divided, but in Kashmir only 30% quota is. Why this is injustice for Kashmir? तो कल को हमारे जो बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, that means they have to work in the streets. We are not able to get the employment. Now coming to the another question, जो जम्मू को इन्होंने डिफंक्ट किया, टोटल डिफंक्ट हो गया जम्मू, लॉन्ग रन के लिए वहां पे बिजनेस खत्म हो गया है, सब कुछ खत्म हो गया जम्मू में। जब अब ट्रेन जब जाएगी कश्मीर, वो जम्मू में करेगी स्टॉप, मगर वो डायरेक्ट दिल्ली जाएगी। इट्स अ मेन कंसर्न फॉर द जम्मू आल्सो, जम्मू इज एक लैंड कश्मीर।
Thank you. Just a very brief point before Manish will start off. So I'm a generalist litigator by profession, and by training I'm an international trader and investor. Now, in international trade, we have this concept of protectionism versus liberalization. Protectionist measures are introduced mostly by developing or undeveloped countries, non-developed countries, in order to protect their domestic market. When 370 was approved, and the state has been thrown open to the wider market that we can call India. Now, local businesses, local businessmen, or other such actors need protection in order to be able to come to a stage where they can survive and compete with the resources that there's at the national level. However, no safeguards of such sort, and this is not barred under any law, because we are just talking about a domestic issue. Nothing of sort is there. There is no protectionism per se, and my friend there raised the concern with respect to environmental issues. Same issues would arise with respect to all kinds of businesses and even for professionals. So maybe if anybody else? Rob, you have a point? Okay. Sure. Manisa.
Thank you, Shah. I first want to clarify that we do not represent Congress. The party has completely sidelined. Trying to get the elections were proposed to the party. It's clear to me that the party would be very happy. So under these circumstances, to treat me as a congressman is to make a very fun. The next point I want to make is that I don't see any reason for anyone to speak to what we heard from himself. Because what he said, at least as far as I could say, represented the main point I wish. Oh, I don't need to repeat what he said. Let me just supplement and say that if in fact development as defined by the center is doing so well, why is it that the BJP did not have the courage to stand from anyone? Why was it in that election that talks was so badly? Badly so, resounding this point has been established that whatever the central government might do in Kashmir, it has not resonated with the people. I think the reason that he is into that, he even mentioned it, is that basically what the Kashmiri wants is recognition. Respect for this, the opportunity to any other Indian in a democratic system. And I don't think what the anyway refuted any of these observations. Particular political parties are dependent on Islamabad or Delhi. I think there is sufficient scope for independent action in Jammu and Kashmir. Parties very dependent on the stuff. So I completely respect the decisions taken in recent elections. In particular, attempt that was made to get Namuba defeated by extending the other constitutions completely against Section 3 of the Delimitation Act to a geographic area with which there is no continuity. Link Puch Rajori with Anantnag over the Peak Punjab is a completely unconstitutional act, completely ultra-virus, Section 3 of the DD. Yet, what happened? The Emma herself was finding unfortunately, but basically, the picture showed the voter was the majority, showed that he has the capacity, despite being a Mumbai, to think for himself and decide what is in his interest. He was not going to be taken out. So those results of that election, in my opinion, validate the point that that basically the Kashmiri is not looking for material things. He's looking for his identity, his security, respect for himself, his right to have any kind. And in asking for these, he's asking for no more than any other. With respect to the question of federalism that have been raised by more than this, I would say that challenge for the nation in 2024 can only be resolved with a degree of federalism which we have never had. Maybe because I am obsessed with this. But in when census takes place in 2026 and UP and Bihar get 14 seats as Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh get, merely because they have been former conscientious of the. Is that fair? Why should we be punished
for the contribution we have made to the nation. So negatively by holding down and positively by becoming the Detroit all the investment or much of it is taking place in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Hyderabad. It's not taking place anywhere else. So it's not taking place on that scale. The idea that somehow you can make 300 for Bangalore, you can't unless there is a sense. And in these circumstances, it is essential, a fundamental fault in our constitution. What is that? There is a central list and there is the state. The state list is about 4 times as long as the state. Almost all economic development, almost all social development, and certainly all human resources is in the state. And yet, the pattern of finance is on a completely different basis. There is a finance commission that's been set up. Its recommendations are always accepted. Traditionally, they have been accepted. But there is no connection between the resources made available and the duties enjoined on them by the and that is why about we have failed in human resources. Education. That is because the states just don't have the resources. Now, the share of the states has been increased to 40%. The impact of that has been removed by the central government, repeatedly resorting to cess rather than tax. Because cess revenue does not have to be shared. With the result that although on paper, the recommendations going back to the 13th Finance Commission, coming out of the 15th, taken up the share of the states to 42%. The fact of the matter is, as a share of the total net revenue, the states are getting less that they got earlier. So, this process of re-federalizing, which could not be undertaken in 1960, because there is grave danger of the balkanization. And it was that reason that we made the Constitution union for state, not to do a federation. And America was very clear about it. He said we created a union of states, a federal feature. He did not say that we have created a federation of states with unity feature. And there is inbuilt flexibility, which has enabled us to amend the Constitution 120 times somewhere without removing the spirit of the basis or the structure. So it should be possible to do this federalization of our Constitution without having departure. If that were done, and in that process, justice would be accorded to Kashmir along with all other states. There would not be this question that rises of why a special. The fact is that while 3 seconds absolutely idea that subsequently mentioned by we have several such legal special treatments. Why I mentioned this now is that he only mentioned the northeastern states. But did you know that Gujarat is a bit? The Vidarbha Development Board comes out of special.
So the idea that somehow we treated Kashmir in a special and discriminatory. So we treated several states that required separate state treatment in an equal way by allowing them certain privileges that were not required elsewhere and were therefore not given. And we now have this very conundrum that this government can only last with the support of Bihar and Maharashtra and Andhra. And both these states are demanding special status. In other words, they're trying to become and so whatever solution is equally be found for Kashmir. The Kashmiri problem is not resource. The main Kashmiri problem is what Pakistan politics, which is honor and dignity. Unless honor and dignity, there is no solution. At the same time, I recognize that the bulk of the problem has to be handled within the country. Most importantly, by constructing the very hands. The basis for which was laid by Ansari Salam also the other events that took place, there were several problems. So the basis for establishing a viable relationship with Kashmir and with Jammu exists, and all that they need to be done in practice. There's also a very achy for a dialogue between Srinagar to create entity called Jammu Kashmir instead of having everybody's mind, including the people of Jammu, an idea that somehow Kashmir is a different entity. So I'm very glad that it's always not a common idea. We see that whatever that although the Ladakh is thrilled by the separation from Jammu and bias is the version given to Mr. Shah, mostly by the representative. He himself is gone. And Ladakh is clearly right there. And instead of being dissatisfied with Kargil, both Kargil and Leh are now dissatisfied with it. So the answer is not that in union democracy. The answer lies in the states. And restoring that states is essential. But I share the impression that despite all the talk of elections are not going to be held. If there is any kind of postponing in so-called peace, I think we deeply mistake. And yet, if there is an election, here the other side of the case is the one. Basically, they are not accepting that Muslims are Indians. There is a large Muslim population that is not Kashmir, that is being actively discriminated against by this government because the presence of 200 million Muslims, I'm not talking about 7 million, I'm talking of 200 million Muslims in India is the biggest obstacle in the way of making mistakes. And they do not talk to Pakistan because how would they justify settling with Pakistan, Pakistani Muslims, when their target is Indians? And unfortunately for Kashmir, they fall into the category of being Muslim. Whereas until now, and we see there was no, it was very proud. Kashmir was the symbol of us. At least that's what the Congress is. And if you wish, and English blame the Congress, all that has gone wrong, I would say no, but it is, my view, is taken to remove any part of the blame from Kashmiris themselves. It's also true that Sri Lanka moved in his thinking, in what he was saying, between 1947 from being completely an Indian to talking in terms of separation, of having independence. And there were people like Mr. Lloyd Henderson, who are from the US ambassador, who encouraged it. Although he invited us to come, Stevenson was briefed that he wasn't. But that was the it was attack. And then after all, there was an internal revolt in the national party. He was ultimately overthrown by Bakshi Ghulam Mohammed, by G.L. Sade, by T.P. Dada. So to put all the blame on it's easy to do. Doesn't hurt the Congress. Doesn't harm us at all. But I think it harms the Kashmiris by making it seem that it is New Delhi's imperialism and not anything that has nothing to do with Kashmiri states. So overall, I think this is the moment to not drop it. Let's have the election. Concentrate on that. And by holding the elections, even to the people here, the very intention in arresting Kejriwal is to set the stage for what they're going to do in Delhi. And they're going to do it to the stage because it's not going to be initially. So in these levels, I think the best thing to do is to congratulate ourselves on the outcome of the Lok Sabha election. I hope that that will be repeated in the status of elections. That because hope. And although I am great advocate of the India-Pakistan dialogue, I do not believe this stuff will ever actually or maintain that it is useful.
Thank you. Friends, can we have 2 minutes from you and 2 minutes from?
I think that we have been heard so compassionately. Appear that there is consensus on the basic explanation of history of what Thomas Paine and again, here that we are part of the August gathering that carry our message to the nation. We believe the greater hope that national cooperation to the miseries of Kashmir will be strengthened by the views that were quoted in the international ministry security. We will have a united Jammu and Kashmir part of a larger democracy. Thank you.
Harmful ways of looking at the intention and my experience. Thank you very much. I think the long, very long, like that. In telling that sidelining great leaders like him in Congress, because months ago, my party is the only party in all of India from challenges manifesto that there will be no election. While in Congress, I don't think so there will be any party in India who says that. And why is it a problem? And my intentions and my sentiment might be islands from Kashmir. It was under the supremacy of the Indian flag. That was quite telling what the situation on the ground was. I thank everybody for giving us a with just one point where the truth of this discussion lies. Dulat Saab pointed to a very important fact. Why PNGT was my party led outside, so irrespective of all our differences. Said the right. There was only one revolted. That happened Shah Saab. When Shah Saab became the chief minister, first order was regularizing 40,000 people from 40,000 different houses. And the kind of development that happened in those 2 years, sir, I am sorry. My agreement with Congress is very limited. I am sorry to say, I have sent it to people across. They don't know who the real players are. They don't know where the power nucleus actually lies. My family found in that. It was my elder who gave them money. Sheikh Saab was brought to forefront by the name of Ghulam Ahmad Ashari. It came from my family. That is why we need to understand each other better, get to do it. We are speaking about the plight of Kashmir. Muslims across India. I am a Muslim myself. I have equal right in the form of political and get equal space. That is not a favor by either Congress or BJP. It is by the favor by you of the Indian Constitution. One last point. 324 guarantees equal. If anybody denies, well, the problem is in the political circles. I am a worst victim of Narendra Modi. I say bad things about BJP, Congress is all fine with me at that time. The moment I start questioning the Congress, I become the bad guy. You have to understand we all have to write about the party lines. We have to honor the supremacy of the Constitution. And this country has to go by the rule.
Thank you. Before I invite Sunil Vadak to offer a vote of thanks and invite you for tea, let me just take half a minute to make 3 points in 3 lines. I've been to Kashmir recently for a week and met large number. I've never met so many people, so many groups as I did. There is unanimity on 3 things: immediate, fair, and free elections. Immediate, free, and fair elections. Statehood should be granted even before holding the election. Free, we should have some kind of a dialogue with our neighbor. That's a must. Whatever we can say anywhere. But if you really want to solve the Jammu and Kashmir problem, that you don't want to see any more violence there, and which has increased recently, then there is a need for a dialogue. And I don't want to use the words which Mani often says. So that dialogue is absolute must. Whether it takes place now or later, or it's done in some manner or the other, but that must take place. This is essential. Sunil.
Okay, on behalf of Center for Peace and Progress, I would like to thank all of you for the time spent here. I think we had a very, very fruitful discussion. Key points, key takeaways that I would say are immediate requirement of free and fair elections, and as Nizamudin Saab pointed, restoration of dignity. That's very important. And along with that comes one other aspect about bringing in normalcy. How do we bring that in? Normalcy would definitely come by way of jobs, by way of empowerment of youth, which is not the common narrative. It is not only tourism narrative. Number of tourists would not measure the progress of the state. So the progress of the state depends on multiple metrics which need to be looked into. And also, as Atiji also pointed out, there has been a reconnection between the communities. There has been a very strong, I would simply support her, even I have felt that. And I think it's time right when the communities need to reconnect, and we should look at proper return and rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits. and also not ignore the Pandit's words feedback. With that, I would like to thank all of you once again. Thank you.
All are invited for the. Meanwhile, we can